What's up, everybody? OMG, WTF, LWF, BRB, back with, I guess, the weekly overview. I'm not exactly sure what we'll call this. We're going to take the chance to look at the developmental territories. TNA had their first show, so we'll go ahead and look at that as well. We'll see if Ring of Honor had a show, and I was thinking maybe we'd look at New Japan as well, but I'll be honest with you guys. I don't know a lot about New Japan wrestling. I don't know a lot about the Japanese wrestling scene. And if you guys really want to see the New Japan side of things and watch me butcher their everyone's names and stuff, then go ahead and comment below. But I think I'm just going to kind of stay away from New Japan. Maybe check on them every year just to see who the champions are and whatnot. But I don't think I'm going to look at all their shows, especially since they're more of a touring company. But anyway, this is my second attempt of recording this video. I had recorded it last week or whatever last time I recorded when I finished Sunday Night Heat. I recorded it then, but there was a lot of lag in the video, and I just figured, something this simple, I can re-record. It's not a show where I have to go back and rebook everything. I can just easily re-record it. I don't need it to be laggy. Yes, it's annoying that I might have to re-record it a third, fourth, fifth, even sixth time, but these videos probably won't be too long. And honestly, a lot of you guys don't even care about any of this, so I'm just going on a tangent, as I'm known to do. Let us let's just go ahead and first things first. Since this is after Monday Night Raw, the the Raw we just had uploaded, where the Flock and the Undertaker are now kind of aligned. Stephanie McMahon is no longer in the company, and I gave you guys kind of the idea of if we want Stephanie to open up her own company, or do we just leave her alone and let her do her own thing? And while it is too soon for me to do that, that video was just uploaded, honestly, not very long ago at all. And I haven't seen any, if there are any comments on the video about what we should do with Stephanie. But yeah, I'm not joking around here. Just to prove it, she is no longer with the company. It didn't affect our relationship with. Wrong button. It didn't affect our relationship with her. She's still a blood relative. So realistically, we could bring her back in. So, but if she starts her own company, we can't really bring her back in. But she won't come back right now. She's not interested. A lot of the clique was upset, but I went ahead. Did I just see T.J. Perkins? Well, I see T.J. Wilson, and I love I'm a big Tyson Kidd fan. There's T.J. Perkins. Look at that young face. But yeah, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, um, Shane McMahon, so on and so forth. All of them were upset, but I went ahead and giving them all a payoff just to shut them up. Linda McMahon, unfortunately, I can't give a payoff to because she's the technical, I guess, owner of the company. The mod person did that, even though that's not true, but I guess it puts an authority over Vince. But I can't affect that. She's got a big morale issues with her. It says firing of. I didn't fire Stephanie McMahon. I didn't fire her. She quit. So I don't know why they're mad about that, but whatever. Um, Deborah, I don't care about, so whatever. Unless Stone Cold starts getting mad at me over Deborah, I think I'm going to go ahead and let Deborah slide. So I don't remember how the developmental shows were ranked last week, so unfortunately we're not going to be able to go worst from best like we normally do. So I think I'm just going to scroll down the list here, and the first show that appears up, which is Heartland Wrestling Association, we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at this, and we'll go ahead and look at the, where is it at? History. So okay. So Wednesday, week one, their last show, I believe, right? This was week 4 of May. Yeah. So this is their last show that we had BJ Whitmer go over Mike Bell. I can click him still. So BJ Whitmer defeats Mike Bell with a 32E plus rating. Then we had a 45 solid D rating here as Chad Coiler defeated Cody Hawk to retain the HWA Cruiserweight Championship. We then had a 44 solid D rating as Nova, Hollywood Supernova, or Simon Dean to some, defeated the Navajo Warrior. And in our main event, big news in HWA as Rory Fox defeats D'Lo Brown to become the new HWA Heavyweight Champion with a 55 C- rating. And those of you who know me know that I'm a big, some may say a huge D'Lo Brown fan. So, um, even though it's kind of strange to say that I'm happy to see that he lost because I'm a big fan of his, I'm happy to see that he finally dropped the HWA Heavyweight Championship. So he is definitely being called up to the main roster. We'll probably put him over on Sunday Night Heat. Rory Fox, the new champion, and we'll see where that goes for him. So I believe Rory Fox is under developmental contract with us. Yes. And let's go ahead and take a look at the championship. As you can see, first time champion, prestige at a 71B minus. 12 defenses from D'Lo Brown. I mean, he was the best person on the roster, so not to be shocked. All right. Next up, NWA Wildside Wrestling. Let's go ahead and look at their last show. Looks like they might have had 2 shows. Yeah, it looks like they've had 2 shows since then. So we'll go ahead and look at both of those. All right. So Wednesday, week 1, the show after Sunday Night Heat got a 52 D+ rating. I don't know if I ranked the HWA, but you guys saw it, so I'm not going to go back and do it myself. So we opened up with a 41 solid D rating as Lazarus retains the NWA Georgia Junior Heavyweight Championship over Sin. Then we have a, wow, is this the best match on the card? It is. 62 solid C rating as Jason Cross and Onyx defeated the Violent Playboys, Frankie Kazarian and Jimmy Rave. Woo! Poor Jimmy Rave, though. I actually just heard he had to amputate his arm, and he just retired. It's crazy. Anyway, 62 solid C rating as Cross and Onyx retain the titles over the Violent Playboys. Moving on, we have a 58 C- rating as David Flair, son of the Nature Boy Ric Flair, defeated the phenomenal AJ Styles. And in our main event of the evening, 58 C- rating, Air Paris retains the NWA Wildside Heavyweight Championship over Adam Jacobs. Oh, wait. That's right. We have one more show. I almost forgot. And then finally, I guess one of their pay-per-view, I don't know, events, whatever you call it. NWA Wildside One More Round 2. 55 C- rating for the show. We open up the night with a 56 C- rating as Chris Harris defeats Paul London. We then have a 35 E+ rating as Rick Michaels defeats JC Daz. JC Daz used to be a part of a team, I believe it was the Boogaloo Boys, and I think his partner actually was released by NWA, so that is actually kind of why we're seeing JC Daz in more singles action, it appears. We move on to a 44 solid D rating as Lazarus retains the NWA Georgia Junior Heavyweight Championship over Ray Gordy. We then go on to a 61 solid C rating. I think Jason Cross and Onyx might have some freaking good chemistry or something because they are pulling out some great ratings for these tag team matches. Either way, Jason Cross and Onyx defeat the team of Abyss and Sin. Hey, that's actually kind of an interesting team there to retain the NWA Wildside Tag Team Championships. 53 C- rating as Colt Cabana defeats David Flair. And in our main event of the evening, solid 63 C as Air Paris retains the NWA Wildside Heavyweight Championship over Ken Anderson. All right. And Ohio Valley Wrestling right underneath, so we don't have to go too far. Let's check out OVW. history. So they've only had the one show. So Wednesday, week 1, 45 solid D rating for the show. We open up with a 32 E plus rating as the team of Brett Sanders and Maven defeat the Ballard brothers, Shane and Shannon Ballard, by disqualification. 44 solid D rating as John Cena defeats Christopher Nowinski to retain the OVW Hardcore Championship. In our semi-main event, 50 D plus rating as Bull Buchanan defeated Ricky Banderas. And in our main event of the evening, 54 C minus rating as Fit Finlay defeats and retains the OVW Championship over Flash Flanagan. All right. So, we got Propane Pro Wrestling. Let's see if Ring of Honor has had a show yet. They have not had a show, but since we're here, let's go ahead and take a look at the roster so far on Ring of Honor. So Ring of Honor right now has Aaron Stevens, which is better known as Damien Sandow. Brian Gorey is the referee. Dave Brown is, I'm assuming, one of their announcers. Hala Wicked. Hugo Sanovich, which is another one of their announcers. Isn't that the Spanish announcer for WWE? Ian Rotten. Joey Abs. Wait, Joey Abs from like the Mean Street Posse? Doesn't tell me. Joey Matthews, Joey Mercury from Eminem. Crazy K. Mike Lockwood, aka Crash Holly. Nicole Bass. Rob Echoes, aka Robbie E. Rob Feinstein. I believe there's some controversy about him, but I'm not too sure. Oh, legendary Tito Satana, most likely a road agent. And Wife Beater. All right. Interesting name. We got Stampede Wrestling still around. Good stuff. All right, let's take a look at total nonstop action. Now, since we went ahead and we're doing separate saves for TNA, TNA did kind of get screwed because they have to use the roster that I hired already for them. So we don't get to see anybody interesting that, like Ring of Honor just hired, like, for instance, Wife Beater. But I still think TNA's roster is interesting. When I went ahead and hired them, I was thinking of, X Division stars and stars with some name value. That way I can try to get TNA up into popularity as fast as I can. So TNA, they had their first show. Actually, no, they've had 2 shows. They had a TNA Impact Wrestling and then TNA It Tolls for Thee. I went ahead and I actually started TNA Impact Wrestling because I think the way I'm going to do the booking for TNA is I'm going to, instead of making it like the weekly or monthly, I don't remember how they did it, if it was weekly or monthly pay-per-views that they hosted all the time. I think I'm just going to jump right into TNA. We've got, as you can see, they do have a couple of people who are broadcasting it right now. And I just think that's the best way because there's really nobody really around for events right now. And I guess I can hire like the TV programmers to host the events, which I might end up doing, like the pay-per-view events. But there's no one broadcasting that's willing to deal with TNA right now for pay-per-views. So I thought it would be better for me to just do it as the TNA Impact. They did have Tolls for Thee on it was broadcasted, but it was on Kansei Telecasting, and I believe that is in Japan. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the 2 TNA shows before we go ahead and end off this episode here. Real quick, I guess I'll go ahead and I'll show you guys the roster. I don't think I've officially shown you the roster. So this is going to be the roster when we start our TNA save as well, which I'm going to be doing here pretty soon. We have Alicia Webb, Brian Adams, Buff Bagwell, Chastity, China Doll, Chris Candido, Chris Hero, Christopher Daniels, CM Punk, Don West, Drew Galloway, Francine, Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, Jerry Jarrett, Julio De Niro, Juventud Guerrera, Keiji Sakata, Kenny Omega, Kid Cash, Conan, Michael Modest, Madaja, Naroki Doi, Nelson Knight, Norman Smiley, Petey Williams, Sabu, Scotty Mack, Shane Douglas, Super Crazy, Tammy Sitch, Terry Runnels, Tony Schiavone, and Tylene Buck. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and look at the shows. So their very first ever show, TNA Impact Wrestling, held on Thursday, week 1. We opened up the first TNA match by disqualification, of course. 49D plus rating, Juventud Guerrera defeating Chris Hero by disqualification. We then move on to a 33E plus rating as Scotty Mack went to a no contest with Chris Candido. We then had a backstage skit involving Double J, Jeff Jarrett with Madaja and Francine. I got a 65 solid C rating. 34E plus rating as CM Punk defeated Naroki Doi. We then have a pre-match interview with Buff Bagwell, which gets a 53 C minus before our main event, the first main event in TNA history. Buff Bagwell goes to no contest with Conan with a 42 solid D. And the very first ever TNA pay-per-view, TNA event, TNA It Tolls for Thee, 48D plus rating. We open up the show with a pre-match interview from Super Crazy, 37D minus rating. We then move on to a 45 solid D rating as Super Crazy defeats Chris Candido. We then have a backstage confrontation involving Double J, Jeff Jarrett, and Shane Douglas. 63 solid C rating. 29 solid E for a match. Scotty Mack going over Michael Modest. Backstage segment involving China Doll and Tammy Sitch. 53 C minus rating for that. Bet that was actually kind of fun. We then have a 26 solid E rating as Jay Lethal defeats Drew Galloway. And then we have our first ever championship on the line. 27 solid E rating. Kenny Omega makes history and defeats Petey Williams to become the very first ever TNA X Division champion. Oh, I thought I clicked off the whole thing. We then go to a backstage skit involving Madaja, Terry Runnels, and Chastity. 61 solid C for that. Pre-match interview with Chris Hero, which gets a 36 D minus rating. Damn, they hype Chris Hero up just to beat him, it seems like. 30 E plus rating as Naroki Doi goes over Chris Hero. We then have a hype video and hyping up the match between Buff Bagwell and Brian Adams. 57 C minus rating because I believe upcoming is for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship and history is made once again. 47 solid D rating. Brian Adams defeats Buff Bagwell to become the very first ever TNA World Champion. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. 71 B minus for the championship. Oof. TNA's X Division Championship not starting off too hot, it seems like. Either way, though, that'll do it for this episode. There's nothing else that I want to look at. Unless you guys see anything here in this list that you guys want me to look at in these kind of weekly segments, those are just going to be the main programs we take a look at. Hopefully this video wasn't too laggy, because I actually think it kind of turned out pretty well. And I don't want to reshoot it. I don't think I ever want to reshoot it. So with that being said, my name has been OMG, WTF, LOL to WBRB, and I will see you guys in the next video, which might be Friday Night Nitro, might be Impact, it depends on which one I get booked first. Or it could be the local to global. Either way, have a great one, guys.